Hi everybody, it's Rob Scott from UC Today, and today I am joined by Mark Strassman, who is General Manager for the Unified Communications and Collaboration business at LogMeIn. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Rob. Great to be talking to you today. I appreciate the time.
No, thank you. And thanks for joining me. I'm really excited about our conversation today because you have such a fantastic perspective of the UC and collaboration market at LogMeIn. So first of all, Mark, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at LogMeIn, and maybe give us a quick update on LogMeIn and what they're up to?
Absolutely, I'm happy to. So I'm a general manager of our UCC group here at LogMeIn, and a lot of products that you'll recognize, such as GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, GoToTraining, product called Jive that LogMeIn acquired several years ago, which is our PBX in the cloud product, as well as telephony products like OpenVoice. And I came to LogMeIn about a year and a half ago as we start seeing convergence in the UCC space. LogMeIn has video, we have events, we have audio, we have PBX, we have messaging, and really what we're doing is putting it all together into a single go-to platform, because that's really what customers are looking for. So a lot of customers are shopping for voice or shopping for meetings, and they can certainly buy both from us. But as their UCC needs start coming together, really coming together for a unified go-to platform from LogMeIn.
Fantastic, and you really do with that GoTo suite now have that full stack, don't you? Because since the acquisition of Jive, you've got full UCaaS cloud calling in there too. Is that correct?
Exactly right. And before LogMeIn, I was at another company really focused just on video, and certainly heard from more and more customers. They're looking to consolidate with fewer and fewer vendors to have a single end user experience and a single IT experience. So that's really what we're able to provide. We have all these puzzle pieces, and putting it all together into the single go-to platform really provides a lot of value to IT because they can get more for less in a single IT platform, and end users just have a single experience instead of popping from tool to tool to tool to tool.
Yeah, absolutely, and it always makes me chuckle a little bit, really, because it's almost like a second wave of convergence, isn't it? Because once we were converging, all these platforms in one way, but we're really kind of doing it again now in the cloud, and it all seems to be coming together really quite nicely. So
I think that's right, and I think it's funny looking at UC and UCC. The definition of what it is has really changed. It really started out with messaging, then it added video, and then telephony, and I think it continues to evolve. Where now with UCC, it's really contact center is becoming part of it, and AI processing the content. So UCC continues to evolve. It continues to have more and more pieces that are coming in, and really, the way I view UCC as the technology that companies use to communicate inside the company, and more with customers and people outside the company. So it's telephony, it's video, it's messaging, it's AI, it's contact centers, it's support. And so not all companies are getting that all from one provider, and that's fine. I think you have to have integrations and you have to work with multiple pieces. But I also think for smaller companies that really want to get it all from one place and get a great value, that's really an opportunity in the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we're going to talk about trends. I know just around the corner is Enterprise Connect 2020 in Orlando. So we'll be there as you see today. And I imagine the GoTo team at LogMeIn will be there too. Absolutely,
absolutely. We will be there in strength. We used to have multiple booths at Enterprise Connect, one for AI technology and one for our PBX technology, and another for our meetings and rooms. So it's really all come together in force for a single go-to presence from LogMeIn. Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Great stuff. And for our audience and viewers that are watching this today, I wanted to try to kind of extract from you some insights from LogMeIn and GoTo about the marketplace and the kind of trends that are really impacting organizations, small and large. So let's start with the future of work. What's your perspective when someone asks you what is the future of work? What do you say on the topic of UC and collaboration?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And it's funny talking about the future of work, because for the past several years at Enterprise Connect and these conferences, we've been out there talking about the future of work and more remote workers and video becoming the norm. I think the future of work is now, actually. I don't think it's the future anymore. I think all these things that we've been talking about for years are now becoming the norm. You look at the future of work, remote work is a big piece of it. Gartner predicts that over 50% of employees will be working from home or working out of the central office, over half the time. So that is not something that's coming in the future. It's something that's happening now. It's, remote work is an integral part of our work culture. As the workplace has changed, it used to be everyone would go to a central headquarters, and then there used to be a central headquarters, but a lot of remote offices throughout the world. Now it's really just a matrix of people in different locations. And yes, some people are in offices, but most people, half the people are actually not at offices. They're working from home, they're working in different locations. So I think one of the biggest pieces of the future of work is this remote work, and that's happening now. One area that we've really seen this, tested and proven out over the past couple of months is this whole scare over travel and travel restrictions due to the coronavirus. And certainly in our platform, we've seen the usage of our platform go up almost 20% over the past month or so, as people are canceling remote events, they're canceling long travel, and realizing that they can have just as effective meetings. At the same time, there are the benefits of lower carbon, lower cost. So, the remote work is a big piece of the future of work, and again, that future is happening today.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we moving on from the old legacy conversations around, yes, we'll save some fuel, we'll be a bit greener and that type of thing? It's kind of, would you agree that it's kind of moving more towards a productivity benefit for businesses?
Yeah, I would say it's a few things. I think that a lot of the things we talk about, like carbon and saving costs, I think there's been sort of a lot of greenwashing in the industry, saying, yeah, we're saving carbon, we're doing good things for the environment, but it's really just to save cost. I think that's no longer the case. I think people are really looking at remote work, and companies are looking at remote work in a bunch of ways. I think the biggest one is talent is everywhere. Realizing that in a given location, you are not going to necessarily find the best people. The best people are everywhere. So a big recognition that if you want to get the best talent, you can't be limited to a location, and you can't force someone to spend half their time on a plane. I think that's a big part of it. Certainly carbon, while was sort of the future a few years ago, talking about doing the right things for the environment, it's clear now what's going on from a science perspective and from what it means for the future of our planet. And companies need to be not only good from a performance perspective, they need to be doing good for the earth and doing the right thing. So I think many companies have actually targets and goals around their carbon footprint, and remote work plays a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go on. I was just going to say, do you think the technology needs to further evolve for us to really go fully kind of remote working, or do you think there's always going to be that kind of 70% of us work remotely, 30% don't work from an office, for example? What do you think that balance is going to be like?
Yeah, in order to meet these needs, I think really two things need to continue to evolve. One is the technology, and I'll talk more about that. And the other is culture, especially of legacy companies. So one is technology. You need technology that just works. It used to be audio was the least common denominator, and I think audio is getting better and better and better. And companies like LogMeIn have added two-way forward error correction and retransmitting of bits, and certainly 5G and better connectivity makes a big difference as well. So I think the case where people are dropping out and you're not hearing people are happening less and less, and those technology considerations need to continue to evolve, and I think those are getting better. I think video is becoming the norm. I think you have to see people, right? 80+% of communication is nonverbal. So I think having video and solid video has become the norm. I think that's a big piece of it. I think there's a recognition that it's not just someone working from home working with someone who's working from home. There are offices, and those offices need to participate. So we continue to hear that the huddle room is really the domain of video and of technology, and that continues to be a big push, and you'll see a lot of that at Enterprise Connect. But that's not just so people in the office can work well. You have to have great technology in the conference rooms so you involve all the remote workers, right? If you're sitting in the conference room and someone just dials a call and no one else can see each other, that's a problem. So remote work isn't just about having technology for the remote workers, it's having inclusive technology in the office that involves the remote workers. So that's important as well. A couple other areas are consumer experiences for the end users. My dad, who's turning 90 this year, can call me on FaceTime. He knows how to hit that button and he gets me on screen. Those sort of consumer experiences are expected now in the workplace. Anyone in the office or remotely needs to be able to call someone like they're sitting in the cube next to them. You have to have technologies that create these water cooler moments without having to schedule a meeting and go into 5 different tools. So I think that those technologies between in the office, having technology that just works, and having that consumer experience is really important on the technology front.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo that on the technology front. It seems to be there. We seem to have got to the point in time where everything's possible in video. We can collaborate, we can communicate with our customers, we can call, all on these cloud-based platforms, but the quality, reliability seems to be pretty much 99% there. Would you agree?
I think that it depends on the platform. I think that it's still spotty. It's something, I would say a good proportion of our resources are focused on making sure the technology just works, and it has to work in the edge situations, right? If you're in the office, if you're plugged into Ethernet, if you've got 5 bars of connectivity, everything's great. It's what happens in those edge cases. What happens when the internet goes down? What happens when you get to a single bar? How do you degrade gracefully? And I think those are the areas where you really need to work hard, and that's where platforms can really stand out and something we're really focused on. Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going back to that coronavirus conversation where I was talking about an increase, you've seen a massive increase in, or a surge of additional usage or customers on your platform since the breakout of the virus. I find that fascinating. And was that particularly existing customers, or did you feel or get a rush of whole new customers joining your platform?
We've seen both. Yeah, it's a great question. We've certainly seen existing customers retool and basically set up contingency plans. We had a customer the other day that had reported to us they had an event with tens of thousands of people planned. They canceled last minute, and within 3 days they turned it all to virtual using our platforms. So I think part of it is existing companies having these contingency plans, having backup plans that are virtual. I think that's part of it. I also think that once they're having these events and doing these meetings virtually and planning them and doing them in a thoughtful way, realizing that these can be as effective or more effective than all the travel. So I think some of these restrictions are opening people's eyes to what the possibilities are. Also, certainly seeing that it's largely, we talked about technology before, and that continues to change and evolve. But what we're also seeing, and to me, the future of work is potentially less about technology and more about company culture and organization. You have a lot of companies that would occasionally let people work from home or have work from home policies, or people who work from home or remote locations were sort of the exception. We would accommodate them despite their being in these locations. Now that it's the norm, companies need to think differently about their organization. For instance, at LogMeIn, we have a number of centers of excellence, of central development centers in different locations, which is great. We're now reviewing remote as a center of excellence, to have a leader, a remote hub, someone who's setting the culture, setting the tools, setting the norms for how people work together remotely, not just in different office locations. So thinking about remote and remote work as a center of excellence in and of itself, not as an exception, I think is really where we're going.
That's really interesting. And how much responsibility do you take in educating your customers about these cultural changes? Because I know you're a technology platform provider, but do you get involved in the conversation around how to adapt your business and your people, your generations within those organizations to move to these platforms?
It is a great question. We are doing that more and more. Frankly, I think we've been dragged into those conversations, and now we're realizing that it's the opportunity as we are heavily customer design focused and looking at customers' workflows. It's not just about the technology, it's about what they're trying to get done, how they're trying to meet, how they're trying to communicate with each other. So we have a unique opportunity with tens of millions of users using our platform every month to really look at best practices, to document those, and to help companies implement these sort of modern work practices. So it's something we're doing more and more, but probably not enough of. It's a great question, Rob.
Yeah, because I see it as being a bit of a hot potato over the years into who takes responsibility for that. Once you realize that actually it's not just simply a technology purchase, it's a real mindset change, isn't it, as for the business? So
it is, and I think you'll see leading companies actually creating new positions, people who are heading up remote work, remote hub leaders. Again, it not being something that you do as an exception, but do as a norm. Company organizations will change and leadership will change to make sure that people communicate really well no matter where they are.
Absolutely. So let's just refocus back on Enterprise Connect. It's coming up. It's a major event in North America. It's probably one of the largest that I know of worldwide. What do you think the vibe's going to be like at Enterprise Connect this year? You've probably seen, I'm sure you've seen the schedule and the breakout sessions are on, and the speaker sessions. What do you think the general conversation is going to be amongst those enterprises that are visiting that event this year?
Yeah, I think we've seen over the past years some trends which will certainly continue. You will see a lot of technology focused on the meeting rooms and making sure you can have meeting rooms that work really well, so you can go in and just start a meeting and involve anyone. I think as part of meeting rooms, you'll see a lot about interoperability, recognizing that there are many different meeting platforms out there, right? The least common denominator is telephony. You can always dial a phone number and call anyone. But if companies are using GoToMeeting or WebEx or Zoom or Teams, they haven't been able to interoperate. You'll see a lot of interoperability this year, whereby you're in a room from one platform, attending a meeting from another platform, and we're excited to have information to share there as well. So interoperability, talking with anyone no matter where they are, no matter what platform they're on. I think in the past, you've seen a lot at Enterprise Connect and a lot of talk about AI or artificial intelligence. I think that's evolving into the benefits you get from artificial intelligence, not necessarily the technology behind it. Getting meaning and knowledge out of meetings as opposed to just the recording of the meetings. Insight from customer conversation that can be used to drive customer satisfaction, again, as opposed to just kind of AI. So you'll be seeing a lot of the uses of AI and practical applications of AI. And I think you'll see a lot just generally on integrations, on platforms working together, even outside of UCC. Integrations into customer workflows across CRM platforms, across customer satisfaction platforms, and vertical applications as well.
Mark, it's been fascinating speaking to you today. I'm looking forward to seeing Enterprise Connect in the next month or so. It's been in terms of the future of work, I'm sure there's lots more to find out on your website as well about the future of work and your blog. But thank you very much. Thanks for talking to me.
Rob, I appreciate meeting with you. Again, it used to be we would wait until actually getting to the show at Enterprise Connect to have discussions like this. It is great to be using our own technologies to talk about the future of work, which we're proving is now. I look forward to seeing you at the show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark. Nice to see you.